Hello and welcome to Jazz After Dark. How you doing out there? All is good with you? I finally bought my own stuff here. For the last couple weeks, I've either had the Flaviar membership come in or the neighbors have been coming by. We've been hanging out, so I finally said, I'm going to go buy me a little something. What am I going to buy? The creme de la creme. El Buffalo Tracy. Huh? All right, hope you got yourself a drink here. You're ready to hang out. I was trying to think what to talk about. I genuinely sat out here for like an hour going, all right, what can I talk about today? And it took me an hour. I finally went, hey, I'll just look through my emails and I'll see if there's a question in there and maybe there's something I can do there. And one stuck out. Tom's a client, obviously. Tom's a newer client, actually. Came as a referral, by the way. That's awesome. I love that. But Tom's question was really short and sweet. Sometimes those are nice, but this one was crazy. He goes, can I retire at 60? That's it. Oh, question mark was in there. And there's two responses to that. Like on one side, I'm like, what do you think? I just make this stuff up and I'm just going to go, yeah. No, God, no, I'm a geeky numbers nerd. I want to know the details. Plus, Tom's older than me, so Tom's going to retire while I'm still here doing my thing. I always joke with clients, I'm like, if I get this wrong, you have time and money to come hunt me down and tell me I screwed it up. I'm not doing that. The other side of it is, well, can you? Like, let's dive into this. Let's get nuts with it and figure out what we can do. So I'm going to address this here today because there's a lot of variables, of course. I'm going to address this today for those of you that have that 60 number in mind, and you're probably pretty close or whatever. If you're 30-something, you're watching this, you might get some ideas, but I'm talking about people that are kind of close and they're like, can I do this, right? So the first thing is the variables that go into it. Whether you use another advisor, shame on you, or you're here with Jazz Wealth, we're going to go through some variables. Actually, do I have it? So let me share this with you here real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this part here. The variables are really simple. I'm going to go backwards. I need to know about your family. In this case, Louis and Lucille are usual suspects here. In particular, I want to learn about your longevity. When do you think you're going to die? But anyways, I need to know about your family, your current expenses. We're going to break that down. If your expenses obviously don't include savings, but it allows you to save if your expenses are low enough. So I want to know what savings you're doing. I want to know what income that you have from all sources, any form of income. And then I want to know what the not just retirement goals are. People get this wrong all the time. Any goal that you have. I want to know if you're putting kids through college, got to buy cars every 5 years, or maybe you're like me and you like classic cars. Do you force a vacation on your family, those little boogers, and make them go somewhere nice? As their wedding's coming up, you see where we're going with this. You could also just say, I don't know, Dustin. I'm just going to put something here. I'm not exactly sure. That's acceptable too, but not just the retirement goals there. Okay, so there's other software that you probably could use on the retail side and stuff. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to go through your family. They're going to say, what are your current expenses? Are you saving? In particular, what are you saving? What's your income and what goals do you have? Any good software or advisor should go through all of that because it's not just about retirement. Buying a car every 5 years or putting a kid through college or whatever obviously affects your retirement there, right? So the first thing we want to talk about once we have that is, what is your general financial ability to retire? Is it looking good or are we way off here? Believe it or not, I cannot tell just by looking at someone's plan. Maybe I could, but I tend to go a little bit deeper and wear myself out doing it. But what is that success rate? Are we close? And if we're not close, what were you maybe a little optimistic about? Okay, so we want to talk about that as you go through there. I've got some notes here. I'm going to make sure I do this. All right, so the next thing that we'll tend to focus on, especially if you're a little older, or closer to retirement, I should say, to be nice these days, is what's that Social Security like? Remember, Social Security, we're using 35 years of earnings. They're going to take the highest 35 years. So if you're retiring at 60, there's some pros and cons here, right? Because you say, well, 60, I go back 50, 40, 30, 25, probably wasn't making a lot of money in there. Maybe, maybe so, maybe not. You say, okay, well, that's cool. Maybe some of those will drop off if I retire earlier. However, you're probably making more money when you're older, I assume. And so then we go, okay, well, now that's coming, those higher income years are coming off your earnings record or, list or whatever there. So some tricky stuff there. We can figure that out. We can go to ssa.gov. Not me. You can go in there and verify yourself, and it will show you your earnings record. What numbers are they using to calculate your expected returns? So that becomes interesting there because the next question is, you don't need to file at 60, and most of you can't do it anyways, but let's say you're going to take Social Security early. That's the question. Should you? All right, should we delay it a little bit? How much money do you have? Can we delay that a little bit? Remember, if you're a husband and wife, the higher income earner likely wants to delay as long as possible because that's the benefits that actually count towards the spousal benefit should you pass away first and, yada, yada. So we're starting to open up some can of worms there. So that's obviously a consideration. And those starting points right there kind of get the boring stuff out of the way, right? The third thing is, how are we going to pay for healthcare stuff? What's going on there? All right. Do we have access to healthcare? Medicare, right? We've got 65 there. That's something, if you're retiring at 60, that doesn't quite work out. How are we going to solve for that? Now, that's a big chunk. The only reason I say this is because that's a big chunk unless you're going to Costa Rica or Portugal and probably some other countries as well. But we have clients, I don't know who they're watching or what's in the water, but people are retiring and going in, that they're going to make Costa Rica their home or Portugal. And of course, healthcare is a lot less expensive out there, and arguably you get a whole lot more for your money, but that's a separate video and probably a separate rant there. So, we want to figure out the healthcare costs. If you're staying here in the States, we've got a window there to figure out. Not only that, one more thing, your income is important. Because as we get to Medicare, they're not just going to accept whatever your income is in that year. They're going to go, let's take a look back here and see what's going on with the previous years now, right? So there's a chance we can make you look kind of poor on paper, and those Medicare premiums maybe don't ding your Social Security, right? All right. So then we'll say the fourth thing, we're at four things now, all about the withdrawal plan. Take my shirt off for a minute. I know I'm here. This is marketing. It's called good faith marketing. I help you. You remember us, the little face. You schedule a call. You open an account, transfer stuff. It's great. But let's put that aside for a second. The most important part, once you get through the rest of it anyways, once you get through the retirement age, your financial viability, Social Security, and Medicare or health insurance, when you get through that, the most important thing to do next is the withdrawal strategy. I wouldn't have said that 5 years ago. Wouldn't have said it. I've seen so many, those that was just showing Nest Egg, a software we use. I've seen so many plans now that I'm sold. You can't change my mind. The difference in returns from retirement to death revolves around the withdrawal strategy. And you've got to be sort of nimble with changing tax codes and things like that. But night and day, you can almost earn a higher return from your withdrawal strategy than you did on an annualized basis through your whole life savings. When you were putting money in accumulation phase versus distribution phase. So I'm sold on that. We have to know the withdrawal strategy. Now, Dustin, why don't you just do a video showing what the optimum withdrawal strategy is? That would sure help us out. Yeah, that would be great. There's just no two ways about it, right? That's like, I don't even know how to relate that. I'm just going to stop right there. Everybody's different. I can think of at least 4 clients just while I'm taking a breath there that say, I'm spending every last dollar I have, give or take a little cushion to pay for my funeral expenses or, burials and clean up my house and stuff. They want to spend every last dollar. They have nobody to leave anything to. Okay. Versus this side that says, I have a business that I hope to sell, and I'll probably sell it in a manner that allows someone to give me a lump sum and then pay me over 5 years or whatever it is. And you know what? I'd like to talk about trust strategies because I don't need the money. I want it to go to my kids, their kids, generational wealth, right? So that's why you can't do one withdrawal strategy. But before I go, what does that mean? What does withdrawal strategy mean? What account do you take money out of? You likely have pre-tax accounts, IRAs, 401ks, TSPs, things like that. Then you have post-tax accounts, Roth IRAs, and soon to be Roth SEP IRAs, we have Roth 401ks, but soon to be a few other different types of Roth accounts. So we're even more likely to have that. So how do you take, I need $40,000 a year to live off of, plus my Social Security. Where does the 40 come from? It doesn't all just come from one account. The process of taking from different accounts and then saying, you know what, your tax bracket's here. Let's fill it up a little bit by shifting some money or converting some money. Huge, huge. In fact, as I'm thinking about this, maybe that's a video in itself. Just sample withdrawal strategies, just going through them there, because it's maybe not the most exciting because it's going to be different for everybody, but to show you guys the impact in tax savings, growth in post-tax accounts that you would have otherwise spent, oh my God, and so much more. Anyways, not bad, right? Something to think about. If you're going to retire at 60, and I'd even say 61 and 62, especially if your birth date is earlier in the year, you turn 62 early in the year, boy, we got to have that. We got to have that dialed in. It's not the most glamorous thing, but once we have that, we go on to all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Got to do it. I have so much fun tinkering with this stuff. So happy to help. If you'd like us to help, you know where to find us. No need to throw any marketing in there. You know the drill. For the rest of you, thanks for watching at least. And hope you have a great rest of your evening. Adios.